I like the way this looks. I'm going to click Save to save all. And I'm going to go to Live View because we're going to be using some of the more modern kind of features of website design now. I've selected that purple color for my navigation, and I've got my purple color selected for my footer. Now there's another feature that we can use that's called a color gradient, and I'm sure you've seen color gradients on websites. They're pretty awesome. I really like color gradients a lot. So let's click on our background color. Again, we've got style selected under our sources, global selected for our media query. We've got footer selected, and I'm going to click on my background color. Now over here, we haven't talked a lot about these properties, but these are different CSS properties. They're divided into 5 different sections. The first one is our layout section. Next one sets our text properties. Next one sets border properties. Next one sets our background properties. And the last one is sort of the More button. That's everything else. Now, these icons are just shortcuts to different parts of our CSS properties. If we use the scroll bar here, we can actually see we can scroll down and all of those properties are listed. So this is just a shortcut for us. So let's go to background. And we set a purple color for the background. Now, we can also select a background image. We'll look at that a little bit later. And we can also choose a gradient. And a gradient is where we transition from one color to another color. So let's click on our gradient box. And this is by default, we've got a gradient that goes from white to red. So let's just hit enter and see what happens. There you go. That's a different looking footer, right? It goes from white to red. Maybe not what we're going for, but let's see how easy it is to change these gradients. So we have these gradient buttons, and we select where does our gradient start and where does it stop. So I could choose to do my gradient like this. If we move these sliders up and down, I'm going to hit enter. Now you can see, we just have a little bit of white there towards the top. Okay, what if we wanted different colors? So I'm going to click on this white color we have at the top, and I'm going to choose one of my color swatches. I'm going to fill that in, and let's hit enter. Now you can see we're transitioning between one of our selected colors to that interesting red. What if we wanted to add more breakpoints for our gradient? Well, that's easy. We just click. So we could maybe have it start with the purple color and then have it go to black. And I'm going to switch back over here to my hexadecimal numbers. I like hexadecimal numbers, fewer numbers to type in. #000000. That's the color black. And let's add that to our swatches as well. We're going to be using black from time to time. And then we hit enter. Again, it's kind of interesting, right? What if we wanted to transition to that color white again? Let's save the color white this time. Let's type in #FFFFFF. And I'm going to add it to my swatches and then hit enter. That's another nice effect. It's a little bit more than what I'm looking for. How do we get rid of these extra gradient buttons? Well, you just get rid of them by just dragging it off, and that gets rid of it. Just like if we want to get rid of a swatch, just click on it and drag it away. If we want to change how our gradient is styled, right now it's going from top to bottom. If we put in 270 degrees and hit enter, we can now see the gradients kind of going from left to right. So let's go back to what we had before, which was 180 degrees. Whoops, didn't mean to click that so soon. I'm going to start with the purple color, and I'm going to transition to, I have an idea. Let's do this. Let's start with this purple color, and let's end with the same purple color. So I'm starting with the purple color, I'm ending with the same purple color. But I want my ending purple color to be a darker version of that purple color. So to make it darker, I can drag my lightness bar, okay? And we can see we can move it up and down here like that, and it gives us different levels of lightness. We want a darker version of that color. So how about this? Mister is going to end in 39. So as I switch between my two different purples, we can see it's the same color purple. The difference is the one on the bottom is a little bit darker. And I'm going to hit enter. Oh, you know what? I want to save this because I'll bet I'll be using this again. So I'm going to click on my plus button, and there's my new darker version of the purple. I'm going to hit enter. So now I have kind of a subtle grade from the regular purple to a darker version of it. And you know what? We can do the same thing for our navigation bar as well. If I click up here on my navigation bar, and if I go and look at my DOM, I'm going to double click here. I happen to know, because I looked at my code earlier, that this class, navbar default, is really the thing that determines the color of my navigation bar. If I look over here at my navigation bar code and go all the way up to the top, navbar default, that's really the main color for my navigation. We can also apply these same rules to my navigation. So how do we do that? So I'm going to go back here just to live view only. I'm going to hide, I don't need my document object model. I'm going to go to my navigation bar. I'm going to go to global because we want it to affect all. You can see we have a media selector for a different styles viewer, but I'm going to go to my navigation bar. I'm going to click on global, and I'm going to click on the first item on my list, navigation bar default, and I'm going to go to my background color, and there's that purple, that 4B, etc. So let's do the reverse. Let's create a gradient, and we're going to have the bottom color be that purple color that we like, and then we're going to have the top color be that darker purple color. So we're going to transition from the lighter purple to the darker purple. If I click on the top one, that's the darker purple, and then the lighter purple, and let's hit enter, and there we go. I like this. It's working well for me. So I'm going to save. I'm going to do one more thing, and we're going to wrap up this section. I want to create a selector for my section. Do you remember the section? Let's go back and look at our document object model. We've got three parts to our website, right? We've got our navigation up at the top, we have our section in the middle, and then we have our footer here at the bottom. Now, just in case I want to do some special styling for my section, I'm going to create a selector. If we look over here, I've got sections selected in my DOM panel. I can also select it in my status bar. If we look over here under ID, there's nothing for us to select. It's not assigned to a class. So let's create a selector for that. So how do we do that? We go over here under our sources. We want to make sure that we have our style selected. Now this is really important. When we're changing our styles, we want to make sure we have our style selected. This is going to be our general rule for our website. Got style selected. We have global selected. And now we're going to add a new selector. And let's see, that's kind of hard to see. We want our selector to be pound section. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign my section to this. So if I decide to add a background image or change the background color, I'll be set and ready to go. So under section ID, if I click here now, we can see section ID is available, and I'm going to hit save all, and then real quick, let's preview this in a web browser to see what it looks like. So we're going to go over here, F12 preview in Chrome, and now this is what our website looks like. And we can resize this, and we can see that when we hit the navigation change for mobile devices, our navigation bar changes. If I click here under my pop-up menu, we can see here are our menu items that we're looking at. So this is what we have here so far.